What is up, y'all, and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be talking about the Sacramento Kings and specifically Domantas Sabonis. So if you guys didn't realize, there's been a lot of drama with the Kings that I'm going to touch up in a video later on, especially with De'Aaron Fox and all that stuff. And they recently just played the Spurs with De'Aaron Fox and all that, so that was a story itself. But we're not talking about the Spurs, we're not talking about De'Aaron Fox, we're actually talking about Domantas Sabonis. As before we get into all the stuff, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe if you mess with the channel. You know, I'm trying to post every single day, so if you mess with NBA content, you know, subscribe, do all that stuff, it helps me out a lot. But yeah, let's get into the content now. So kind of out of nowhere, we got a tweet from NBA Central saying Domantas Sabonis is expected to seek clarity on the Kings' direction. And the quote says, league sources said Sabonis, who has 3 more seasons and a combined $140.3 million left on his deal, is expected to seek clarity about the organization's plan in the offseason. Just as Fox wanted to know whose voice mattered the most on key decisions and who the team's owner might be trusting the most as counsel, Sabonis is known to have similar questions. So, Sabonis is kind of interested in seeing what the Kings think their future plans are. As, you know, a few years ago, the Kings were the 3 seed. They lost in the first round, but they're going crazy. They had a great future. And then it kind of just all crumbled from then. They missed the playoffs last year, and this season they're kind of hovering towards the end of the play-in tournament. So it's not really looking, you know, it's kind of just been going down ever since that 3 seed run. And to be honest, the Kings don't really have like a bright future in my opinion. I mean, they traded away their futures, like their star, their cornerstone, their young in-prime player, De'Aaron Fox, who's having a great season. He was averaging about 26 for them. They traded him away. You know, they got Zach LaVine, who's a little bit older, and I mean, he's, in my opinion, a little bit worse, even though Zach LaVine's been playing great as of recent. It's just like, you kind of just got the same with that trade. You got rid of Fox, and you kind of just got, you know, stagnant. I mean, you got some picks out of it, which is, you know, that's huge, but, you know, if you have a guy like Sabonis, who's in his prime right now, and is like around 30, so he's not going to get any younger, you know, if you're not going to compete now, you might want to get rid of him. You might want to explore options to get rid of him. Because you also have DeMar DeRozan, who's, you know, he's not bad. He's playing a good, you know, he's having a good role on that team. He's averaging around 20 points per game. So DeRozan's having a good year. But, you know, you're not really contending right now. So you have all these guys who are older or pushing, like, their late years, and you don't really have a future, a clear direction where you're going. So this makes sense why Sabonis is trying to seek clarity in their future, because he doesn't really know what their direction is going forward. And normally when your star player meets with your organization and does stuff like this, that basically means they want to explore going to a new team next season, or they need to make a big change with the roster, because I understand why he would do that. The team is not that good this year. They've only been getting worse and worse, and it's just something needs to change in my opinion, and maybe Sabonis being traded is that change. Or, you know, someone else gets traded, they get draft picks, or they build now better. Because their team on paper is not a bad team at all, in my opinion, but they just don't have that one, like, elite player that you kind of need to have a great championship run in this league. And now exploring some teams Sabonis could go to if he were to go on a different team in the offseason are the Brooklyn Nets, the Pistons, the Pelicans, and the Bulls. So I'm going to go by one on each of these teams, and I'm going to start with the Brooklyn Nets. Why? Why are the Nets number 1? I feel like in every one of these videos I make when a team or a player is going to a new team, the Nets are always number 1. In my opinion, the Nets do not need to get a player who's in their prime right now, ready to compete for a championship. I think the Nets just need to rebuild. I don't know why they're number 1 on this list, and I honestly don't think they should. And as Nets fans, you probably want to rebuild and build around your guys and get young players. So I don't know. It doesn't make sense for either team. And then number 2 is the Pistons, which I actually like a lot. The Pistons could be good because they don't really have that superstar or all-star talent big. I mean, they have Duran, who's a good player. They have Tobias Harris, who's a great role player. But a guy who's an all-star caliber like Sabonis could complement Cade Cunningham very well. So I like that a lot. Then we have the Pelicans. The Pelicans do need a center. That is true. But I just don't know. The Pelicans are in a weird spot. They have a lot of money tied to their guys. So they'd have to trade someone like a CJ McCollum or something of that caliber for Sabonis. I don't really know how I feel about the Pelicans, but it's not horrible. I think the Brooklyn Nets are worse than the Pelicans, or at least worse than the Pelicans when it comes to, you know, being a landing spot for Sabonis. And then we have the Bulls, who I'm not really sure about the Bulls either, because I do think they need to just, you know, throw away all their pieces, build around Kobe White maybe, and build around Giddey. Giddey's been playing great since the All-Star break. I think the Bulls just need to rebuild and just build from the draft capital that they have, because they just traded away Zach LaVine. They don't need another guy who's going to put up great stats and then, you know, not win anything. So, honestly, out of all this, I like the Pistons a lot. I think he could be a great complementary piece next to Cade Cunningham and be a nice little all-star duo in Detroit, because Detroit is trending up. So, I do not hate that idea of Sabonis going there. He could be the new Fox and Sabonis. It could be Cunningham and Sabonis now. So, you know, let me know what you guys think in the comments about that one, but I think the Pistons are the best out of those options. And, I mean, the Sabonis era might be coming to an end. The Fox and Sabonis era might be, or it's already over, but now, you know, Sabonis is the last piece to leave from that team. But I don't know, man. The Kings are in a little bit of a weird position. They're not as bad as, like, the Mavericks or the Sixers or even the Pelicans right now. They're not in that bad of a spot, but they're kind of just a mediocrity, if you know what I mean. Like, they're not a contender, and they're not like horrible. Like, they're just kind of the floaters. And honestly, sometimes it's not a great that's not a great spot to be. So I don't know, man. But let me know what you guys think in the comments about this. It's interesting because Sabonis, he could go to a lot of teams and help them a lot, but at the same time, Kings fans might be hard to let go of him. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comments. Like the video, do all that stuff, and yeah, we out, man.